This video is going to look at adding ebooks to your Mendeley library and more specifically adding them from the Perlego ebook database, which is the main database we use at ISEP Europe Library. So there are a few different ways of adding ebooks to Mendeley. However, we found the most effective one is by using the Mendeley Web Importer plugin. So if you haven't already installed the plugin, we have a video on how to do that, how to download the plugin, as well as the Mendeley library and the Microsoft Word plugin. So take a look at that if you haven't done already. But we're starting here from our Mendeley library, which you can see is empty at the moment. And we're just going to look at how to add in a book from Perlego into this. So I also have Perlego open here, and I'm actually already in a book. So this is just an introduction to social psychology. And you can add the reference in from here, or you can do it from the previous page as well. So you don't actually have to be within the book and reading it. And I suppose just to mention as well, the other tab I have open here is my referencing guide. So the ISIP library referencing guide. But I would just say you should always have some kind of referencing guide open as well, even if it's the APA website or if it's this guide or whatever works for you. It's just because, as we'll see in a minute, Mendeley, it's not that it makes mistakes, but sometimes it doesn't pick up all the data that might be needed. This can be a particular thing with the Mendeley Web Importer. So you just need to have a kind of basic knowledge of what your references should look like so that you can spot any mistakes and just fix them up. And to be fair, it's quite easy to remedy mistakes through Mendeley. So back to my book. Another thing I can do as well is just to get an idea of what my reference should look like is I can click on the references and citation option here on Perlego, just over on the left hand side, to double quotation marks. So you can see here, this shows me my reference list entry, what it looked like in APA. So that's another useful way I can check it afterwards to make sure that I haven't missed anything or Mendeley hasn't missed anything. But we're not going to use that for now. We're going to use our plugin. So our Mendeley plugin is up here in the very top right hand corner next to our URL bar. You can see it's quite clear, the Mendeley logo. We've pinned that, so if it's not already pinned, you can just click on the jigsaw puzzle beside it and it'll show you all your plugins and you can pin the ones you want to keep up there permanently. So if I click that now, this is open in my Mendeley library here. I'm just going to get back out of that, and this will be what should come up for you in the first instance. If you're not logged into your Mendeley library in the background, it may ask you to actually sign into this. So you can just sign in as you normally would into Mendeley with your normal Mendeley login details. As you can see here, there are two options. These are both for the same book, but one of them is just picking it up as a web page. But because it's an ebook, we want to use book. So Mendeley doesn't differentiate between book and ebook. So we'll select the book option. So you can add to Mendeley at the top right, but I think it's always good before you do that to click the little pencil here to the right hand side, edit reference. And here you can just check all the information that Mendeley has picked up and maybe spot anything that it hasn't. So you can see there it's a book, which is right. It has its title, its authors, and the publication details. So it has the year, which is the most important thing. And it also has the publisher, which, as we saw a second ago, will need to be included. So that is included there. One thing to look out for with the Mendeley Web Importer is, particularly with Perlego, it doesn't always include the URL. So as it's an ebook, we will want that URL within our reference. So all I would do is go back up to our URL and copy it. And it's just this shorter URL. So if there's a lot more to it, you can normally shorten it down to just this number and that will work. If there's other stuff included, it may be because you got to the book in a certain way and there's other unnecessary information included. So obviously if you can keep the URL shorter, while still functional. That's the best case. So I'm just going to paste the URL in there. And you can all see it has our ISBN, which, as I'll look at it quickly in a minute, is another option for adding a book in to Mendeley. But for now, I'm happy with all the information. All the information is there that I need for my reference list entry. So I'm going to click Add to Mendeley. You just see the little tick. That's all that you'll see to know that it's gone in. And we can then X out of that. And if we go back to our Mendeley library, you can see that's just updated this second. And here's our book here. And again, if you didn't make any of those changes at the point that you were adding it, you can always do that afterwards by just double clicking on the reference, and you have all the information here again, and you can add in stuff here that you think you might need. And this also goes for if you've added it to your Word document further down the road and you have your reference list and you see any mistakes, this is the place you should come back to edit it. So you shouldn't edit it in the Word document, as that will automatically take the information from the Mendeley library. So this is the place to always make any changes you think you need. So that is the way I would recommend adding books from Perlego. You have another option if you go to add references, the blue button at the top left, you can add reference manually. And as we looked at there earlier, we see the ISBN for the book. So that's the International Standard Book Number. So every book should have one of them. So you could copy that in and it should autofill here once you click the lookup metadata. The reason I would promote the Web Importer is that I have found this method does leave out a bit more information. So there might be more manual work needed to make sure you have all the information. So I think the Web Importer works better. Also take a look at our second video for Mendeley, which is adding journal articles to your Mendeley library. And as mentioned earlier, if you haven't set up Mendeley at all, we also have a video on that. So that would be your first step. If you do have any other questions around Mendeley or referencing in general or academic writing, please get in touch with the library. So library@icepe.eu. Thank you.